Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Matt Gear and you're watching Matt Gear TV on YouTube. Thanks very much for tuning in. So this week I've got a little lick for you, which could also probably be used as a riff. So it might be a liff or a rick or something like that. Well, it's a little melodic phrase, so you can call it whatever you want, to be honest with you. I'm going to play it to you to start off with so you can hear what it sounds like, then I'm going to break it down and explain kind of the writing process behind how I actually got to the lick in the first place. Because it's all well and good, learning lots of licks, but kind of go, well, how do I make them myself? And that's important. So here it is. This is what it sounds like. So I came up with this lick a few weeks ago when I was mucking around doing some drills and scales. I'm basically sort of working from the minor pentatonic scale as a starting point and then trying to move away from it in terms of the different sounds. So try and make it sound less minor pentatonic. So just as a quick recap, A minor pentatonic looks and sounds like this. So starting on the 5th fret of the low E string. Okay, so that's got a very obviously minor tonality. It is minor pentatonic, and that's due to that note there, which is the flat 3. It doesn't matter particularly what note it actually is. It's C, just in case you're particularly interested. What matters is the relation between that and the A. That interval is a minor third, so it's a minor tonality scale. Now, what I was thinking about is brightening that up by putting a major third in instead of a minor third. So we can either play the major third here, so up close, so on the 4th fret of the A string, or can play it on the 8th fret of the E string, same note. So we've either got or I actually prefer the latter because you've got that kind of slide between the major third and the 4th, which just sounds a little bit more musical to me. It sounds a little bit more interesting. Excuse me whilst I slurp my coffee. So what I was doing is building up a lick around that. Now you'll be familiar with lots of bluesy sounding licks around the minor pentatonic, which is due to, again, that minor third. So what we're actually doing is moving away from that. We've still got the flat 7 from the minor pentatonic scale, but rather than the rather than the minor 3, I'm going to put the major 3 in. So looking at it up close, this is kind of the structure of the lick, and we're starting on the G, on the 3rd fret of the low E string, hammering into that root note, which is a good sort of tension release coming into that key of A. So the upward part of the lick is relatively straightforward, and it goes like this, really slowly, starting on the 3rd fret of the low E string. So 3rd fret, 5th fret on the E string, 4th fret, 7th fret on the A string, finishing on the 5th fret on the D string. So that's the upward portion. Like I said, it's relatively straightforward. Now there's more stuff going on in the downward portion, so I'm going to do it string by string. So on the G string, we're hitting 6th fret, and that's the major third of the scale, and that's what's giving it sort of the bright, cheerful tonality. And we're going to pick, semitone bend, and then release. So and if you want to give it a bit of a pinch harmonic, you can do that as well. So then, picking back on the 7th fret of the D string, pick the 5th, but then after you've picked the 5th, I'm picking, hammer on, pull off to the 7th, and back to the 5th. Okay, so I've got bend, pick, hammer on, and pull off. back to the A string, and it's important, fingering here is quite important, so I'm putting my middle finger on the 7th fret, and I'm picking, but I'm not sticking on that note. I'm picking and sliding straight away, and I'm sliding to the 5th fret, and then picking on the 4th. You could just play that's kind of the net effect of it, but the slide gives it a bit more musical interest and a bit more movement. So far we've got, and then just finishing it off with back down 5th fret, 3rd fret on the low E string. So slowly, all together. So when I'm playing it though, what I'm doing is giving a little bit of an extra palm muted note between the between the A and the C sharp. So there's the lick for you. Hopefully you can see how that fits in and compares to the minor pentatonic, which has got more of a sort of immediate bluesy feel. But the inclusion of that note, the major third, actually gives it a much brighter tonality. It's actually kind of closer to, it's kind of a Mixolydian scale, if you like, with the 2 and the 6 dropped out, because you've got a major 3 and a flat 7, which gives it that sort of Mixolydian feel. Now, excuse me for a slurp of coffee number 2. So now you've got it in that position, what's a really good thing to do with this lick, with any lick that you learn actually, is to try and move it around and see where else you can play it, so you've got the same phrase but in a different position. Now I'm just going to go up the octave, so if we start here now on the 5th fret of the D string, I can play the same lick but up an octave. So again, slowly, just so that you can see the notes. 5th fret, 7th fret on the D string, 6th fret on the G string, up to the 9th, then 8th fret on the B string. Now, the bend here is on the 9th fret of the high E string. Then that pick and hammer on pull off is 10th fret, 8th fret on the B string. And then we're picking and sliding from 9th fret on the G string to the 5th fret, 9th fret to the 7th fret, picking on the 6th, and then 7, 5 on the D string. So and finally, both of them strung together, low octave, then high octave. So that's it. Once you've learnt the lick as it is and as I've taught it to you, just have a play around with it and try and come up with your own variations. And adding that major third into minor pentatonic licks will give it a slightly different, it brightens it up a little bit. Minor third. Yeah, and you can bend between the minor third and major third really easily. And just have a play around with that, and it'll give a little bit more interest and a little bit more flavour to the licks that you're playing. So that's it from me. If you've got any questions, just stick a comment in the box below. If you'd like to subscribe, that would be awesome. I've been Matt Gear, happy guitar playing, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.